Okay, I've got a question for you. When was the last time you made a 5-year plan that actually survived, I don't know, 6 months?
Oh, wow. Never. I mean, my 5-year plan usually lasts until about the first email I get on a Tuesday morning.
That is painfully accurate. But we still do it, don't we? We're obsessed with the roadmap,
Completely. We want to see the destination, all the pit stops, the ETA.
the weather forecast, everything. We have this deep, nagging belief that if we can just analyze enough, we can, eliminate the risk.
Yeah, it's the modern condition. We've mixed up preparedness with control. We think if we can predict it, we can master it.
But the source material we're covering today argues that this whole obsession with clarity, it's actually ruining us. It's keeping us stuck.
Oh, it really is.
We're doing a deep dive into a book called When God Calls Your Name, The Courage to Answer Before You Know, and its central idea is going to make every Type A planner listening, well, very uncomfortable.
It's incredibly disruptive. I mean, the text basically argues that clarity doesn't produce obedience.
It's the other way around,
Exactly. Obedience produces clarity.
which feels completely backward.
It is to the modern mind, absolutely. We think, okay, show me the full path, God, and then I'll walk it. This text says, no, start walking and I'll show you the path.
That sounds great on a coffee mug, but in practice, that is terrifying. And, I thought this was going to be another believe in yourself kind of pep talk.
Right.
But it's not. It's actually arguing that believing in yourself isn't even the point.
No, not at all. In fact, the source argues that waiting for self-confidence is a trap. It explicitly says if you wait until you feel competent to do the big thing, you will be waiting forever.
Because the call comes before the competence.
That's it. So let's get into the mechanics of this, because their author anchors this entire argument in one specific ancient Hebrew word.
A word that I've heard before, but I never understood how heavy it is.
You're talking about Hineni.
Hineni. Break that down for us. What are we actually saying?
So phonetically, it's Hineni. And on the surface, the translation is deceptively simple. It just means, here I am.
Okay, so like in a classroom, when the teacher calls your name.
Right. I'm present. It indicates your physical location. But in the biblical narrative and what this source is analyzing, it implies something so much more radical. It's not about geography, it's about posture.
A posture of...
What? The text defines it as total availability without negotiation.
Without negotiation. Okay, that's the part that gets me.
Right. It's a way of saying, I am here, I am listening, and I am ready to do whatever you ask, even though I don't know what it is yet.
Which, let's be honest, sounds insane. If I walked into a lawyer's office and just signed a contract without reading the terms.
You'd be an idiot. In a transactional world, you absolutely would be. But that's the disruption. Hineni is a pre-commitment. It's saying yes before you even hear the question.
So it's not reckless because of who is asking?
Exactly. It's all about the character of the caller. If you trust the person asking, the content of the request starts to matter less.
The source breaks this down into 4 dimensions, which I found really helpful. It makes this big, abstract idea of surrender feel a little more concrete.
Yeah, so the first is emotional presence. This is basically the opposite of phoning it in. You know when you're talking to someone and they're nodding, but their eyes are just glazed over?
Guilty.
We all are. Hineni starts with snapping out of that. It's total focus. I am fully attentive to this voice right now.
Okay, that one's manageable. What's next?
The second is moral readiness. This is the willingness to act. Think of a soldier standing at attention. They don't know if the order is going to be scrub the latrine or storm the hill.
But the yes is already decided.
The yes is already decided. They are morally postured to move. Then you have relational openness. This is the covenant part. It's saying, I am yours. It's not transactional, like, I'll do this if you give me that. It's relational.
I'm doing this because of who we are to each other.
Yes. And the fourth is the hardest, existential surrender.
This is the big one.
This is giving up the need for control. It's abandoning your own agenda. It's basically acknowledging you are not the main character in the story.
Oof. That hits hard. We love being the main character. But the source points out that some of the biggest figures in history, people we see as giants, they started with this one word.
It's a pattern. Abraham says Hineni when God calls him to bind his son Isaac. Now just think about that. He has no idea how that is going to end.
It looks like an absolute disaster.
The end of everything he was promised. But he says, here I am.
Or Moses at the burning bush.
Moses is fascinating because he says Hineni, but he is terrified. He's looking at a bush that's on fire but isn't burning up, and he offers his presence before he knows he's being asked to go confront Egypt.
And Samuel was just a kid.
A boy. He doesn't even recognize the voice at first. He thinks it's the priest, Eli. But once he figures it out, his response is just pure availability. Speak, for your servant is listening.
What's so striking is that none of them got a strategic plan beforehand.
Not one. The yes unlocked the plan. The plan didn't unlock the yes.
Okay, but this brings us to a massive hurdle. Because even if I want to be available, I look at my life, my skills, my past failures, and I think, you have the wrong person.
Yeah.
I'm not qualified for some grand destiny.
That's the universal insecurity, isn't it? We're obsessed with credentials, but the source makes this brilliant point. It says God calls names, not resumes.
I love that line. God calls names, not resumes.
The whole argument is that God isn't looking for ability. He's looking for availability.
But you don't need the skills yet. You just have to be in the room with your hand up.
Essentially, the source gives this what it calls an unqualified list, which is so comforting if you've ever felt like an imposter.
Oh, let's run through some of these, because these aren't just humble people. Some are really messy.
Very messy. Let's start with Moses again. By any modern standard, he is a PR nightmare. He's a stutterer. He's hiding out in the wilderness. He has a murder on his record. If you were hiring a CEO to liberate a nation, his resume goes straight into the shredder.
And then there's Gideon. The source points out how almost comedic this one is.
It is objectively funny. An angel shows up and calls Gideon a mighty warrior.
Which sounds impressive, right?
Until you zoom out and see where he is, he's at the bottom of a wine press trying to thresh wheat.
Okay, for those of us who aren't agricultural experts, why is that so funny?
Well, to thresh wheat, you need wind to separate the grain from the chaff. So you do it on an open hill. A wine press is a hole in the ground. It's the worst, most inefficient place you could possibly do it.
So he's only there because...
Because he is terrified of being seen by the enemy. He is literally the picture of cowardice. He is hiding in a hole. And the angel looks at this guy, shaking in a pit, and says, "Greetings, mighty warrior."
So the call isn't based on what he is.
No, it's calling out what he will be. The call establishes the identity. Look at Jeremiah, "I'm too young." Or marry an obscure teenager with zero social influence. Her resume was blank.
It seems like identity always comes before the mission. God changes Abram to Abraham before the promise is even close to being fulfilled.
That's a crucial point. The call is relational, not transactional. A transaction asks, do I have the skills? A relationship asks, who is calling me?
So if we start worrying about our resume and start listening for our name, that changes everything. But I still want the map. I still want to know where I'm going.
Of course. We all crave the map.
And the source uses this great metaphor of the map versus the voice.
Or the lamp. It's referencing the psalm, "Your word is a lamp unto my feet." Think about the difference between a map, like a GPS, and a simple oil lamp.
A GPS shows me everything. The turns, the traffic, the destination.
It gives you the illusion of control. You can see the end from the beginning. But an ancient lamp, it casts light maybe, 3 feet in front of you?
Just enough for the very next step.
Exactly. You can't see the horizon. You can only see where to place your foot right now, and that requires constant dependence. With a map, you can just run off on your own. With a lamp, you have to stay close to the light source.
That's a powerful image, but walking in the dark with a tiny light is terrifying. It triggers every alarm bell in my body.
And the source acknowledges that. I love that it doesn't just spiritualize it away. It dives into the neuroscience.
Yeah, talk about the amygdala versus the prefrontal cortex part.
So the amygdala is your lizard brain. Its only job is survival. When it sees an unknown future, it just screams, "Threat! Run! Hide!" It bypasses logic.
And the prefrontal cortex.
That's the CEO of the brain. Logic, planning, faith. That happens there. The problem is the amygdala is faster. So we feel that hit of fear, that racing heart, and we think it's a stop sign.
We think, I'm scared, so this must be wrong.
Right. But the source argues fear isn't a stop sign, it's just data. Or even better, it's a threshold. There's this great line. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the judgment that something else is more important.
So don't try to eliminate the fear.
No, you reorder it. You put it in the passenger seat instead of letting it drive the car.
That connects right back to confidence. We think, I'll obey when I feel confident.
But the text says confidence is a consequence of obedience. You get confidence by taking the step into the dark and surviving it.
So waiting for confidence is actually a form of disobedience.
In a way, yeah. It's stalling. But the source goes even darker. It moves from people who are afraid to start to people who give a partial yes, and the warning is stark. Partial yes is total resistance.
This is the danger zone.
It's selective obedience. It's when we say, okay, God, I'll do this part, but I'm going to tweak the instructions over here because, I think I know better.
The example is King Saul.
Classic case, 1 Samuel 15. Saul is told to completely destroy the Amalekites, a harsh total command. He wins the war, but then he makes some edits.
He keeps the king alive as a trophy and the best livestock.
Right. And when the prophet Samuel confronts him, Saul doesn't say, I rebelled. He has this great excuse. He says, I kept them to sacrifice to the Lord.
That is so slippery. He frames his disobedience as religious devotion.
I'm doing this for you, God. It's rationalization. He thinks he's being prudent, but God rejects his leadership because Saul negotiated the terms.
So partial obedience is basically saying, I trust myself more than the instruction.
Precisely. And the source makes a really interesting point about time. It says, a calling unresponded to does not disappear, it diminishes.
That lands.
It connects to the Greek concepts of time, chronos and kairos. Chronos is just tick-tock sequential time, the clock on the wall.
If you miss the 900 bus, there's a 9.15.
Exactly. But kairos is different. It's a pregnant moment, an opportunity. When a kairos moment arrives, it demands a response. You can't just get to it later.
Right, the moment is the moment.
But, and this is important, the source clarifies there's a huge difference between urgency and panic.
We need to clarify this because I can see people listening and wanting to just quit their jobs tomorrow.
Please don't do that. Panic is fear-based haste. It's Peter sinking in the waves because he's focused on the storm. Panic is noisy.
And urgency.
Urgency is faithful responsiveness. It's a quiet intensity. It's being alert, knowing this moment matters, and acting decisively, but anchored in trust, not fear.
I like that. Panic creates noise. Urgency creates movement.
That's the difference.
So what does this all mean for us? We aren't ancient kings. We have jobs and commutes and confusing decisions to make. We're not hearing voices from burning bushes.
No, and that's why the source suggests Hineni isn't just for those big cinematic moments. It's a lifestyle.
The daily Hineni.
Right. It's waking up in the morning before the chaos hits and just starting with a posture of surrender.
Setting your default to yes.
It's saying, I don't have the map for this Tuesday, but here I am available. It shifts us from this transactional faith where we're always bargaining to a relational faith where we're just walking with the caller.
It takes the pressure off, doesn't it? If I don't have to be fully competent, but just present.
It does. It shifts the burden from I must achieve to I must surrender.
I think the most provocative thought the source leaves us with is a question. We spend all our time asking, am I capable? Do I have the funding? Is this strategic?
And those aren't bad questions, but they aren't the ultimate one. The source suggests God is simply asking, will you answer?
That's it.
Perhaps God isn't asking if you're ready. He knows you're not. He knows we're hiding in the winepress. He's just asking if you're willing to let him work through you anyway.
It's a reminder that history isn't always bent by the strongest or the smartest.
No. History bends around the willingness to say yes before understanding how.
So, for everyone listening, maybe stop looking for the map today. Stop checking the resume. Just listen for your name. And consider what might happen if you answer before you feel ready.
Hineni.
Hineni, thanks for diving in with us. We'll see you next time.